The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, thanks. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clark.
Good morning. I'm Nico Haan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world to recover our natural health and regain those rights and freedoms. It's a beautiful morning in downtown St. Petersburg, 70 degrees, clear skies, and it's springtime here in Florida, so it's pretty nice. Even though you can't go to the beach or do much at all, it's nice to be here for you. Just want to go over a couple of numbers before we get really started into this. Well, before we do start, let's talk about the Primal Edge here. You know, this is really something you need to be taking right now because of the humic and fulvic acid, because it gets the good stuff in and takes the bad stuff out, and primarily because it takes the bad stuff out. It does wrap up those viruses and gets them out of your body. So anybody taking this is pretty ensured that they're going to be pretty safe, I think, as long as your diet's good too, naturally. And of course, please pick up our Health Signals newsletter. Just lost the cursor here. Oh, there we go. And I got a new one coming out April 1st, which is accumulation of the last couple of shows. And we'll just keep on going. The numbers here are that 46,455 people in the United States are confirmed with the virus. The deaths are at 593, so getting up to 600. In Canada, they have a little over 2,000 confirmed and 25 deaths. And they have a little thing here about different states, all the different states, and it looks like that New York is number one with 23,000, New Jersey 2,800, Washington 2,200, California 2,200, Michigan 1,300, Illinois 1,200. Florida we have about 1,227, 18 deaths so far. Fatality rate is 1.5 here in Florida, and which seems to be pretty much everywhere the same. And Connecticut is a little bit more. They have 415 cases and 10 deaths, which is 2.4. But it's all around that. It's nothing really that much to worry about, except that it's very contagious, and that's the biggest problem with this, I think. A couple of items that are kind of interesting about this virus is, of course, we thought all along that this virus was made into a lab. And here's an article here. Let me see if I can find it on. And the virus did not escape from a lab, and here's how we know. So this particular virus apparently is closely related to the severe SARS. And it's got several key genetic codes in it that makes it seem like it's very related to SARS and MERS. But if it escaped from a lab, they're saying that the way this thing was engineered, well, it's just, let me read some of this. Just, the research group came up with two possible scenarios for the origin of this. And one scenario is that it came from the Middle East, and the other one suggests that it came from a bat and transmuted to a human, probably somewhere in China. And this is basically because that's where most of these viruses start. Now, they say the particular structure of this thing has what they call a hook structure. And they said if they were going to make this virus they would have made it a lot different because the hook structure is not one that really makes it lethal, although it says here that it mutated and nature seems to find a way. And there's a couple details in this article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says that it probably wasn't man-made. I don't know if that really makes that much of a difference or not, but maybe it's nice to know that it wasn't man-made. I don't know. So. The other thing that was kind of disturbing was this article on influenza. Let me get this up here. Apparently that receiving an influenza vaccine may increase the risk of other types of viruses known as the viral interference. These studies have shown, these test-negative studies designed are often utilized to calculate the influenza vaccine effectiveness. And they're saying that the conclusion of this is basically if you've got a flu shot, in the past, you're probably more susceptible to this type of infection than people who have never got their flu shot. Of course, I've been against flu shots right from the get-go, and I've never had one, so I kind of feel good about this. So it's just another thing to consider if you ever got a flu shot that you may have to take a little more precautions. Naturally, I'm going to throw this into the Health Signals newsletter so you can read the whole thing. But it's a PubMed article, comes from ncbi.nlm.nih.gov and published by PubMed. So that's kind of interesting that some of these things that they're doing to try to get you away from certain different kind of strains are going to make you more susceptible to this. There's another article I wanted to go over, and this is about your clothes, because we know that these viruses live on different surfaces for different times. So social media here, it says, is saturated with lots of misleading information at the moment. So we asked a handful of doctors, experts, epidemiologists, and those kind of people to answer questions about clothing. And normally what I do is when I get home, I take my clothes off and put on some clean, fresh clothes, and we wash those clothes. And you might wash them every day, you might not. It depends on your frame of mind. But according to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, the coronavirus is usually transmitted through respiratory droplets from an infected person that's sneezing or coughing. And there's evidence that these will remain viable, the droplets, on different surfaces for many hours, depending on the kind of material. Articles of clothing, these particulars can dry over time and make the virus inactive, but this doesn't mean that it will happen quickly. Scientists are still learning more and more about the virus every day. We know that the droplet can dry out under certain conditions, which is much faster with natural fibers. Working heat and humidity can affect the viral survival on surfaces. But remember, it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit in Australia, and Tom Hanks still had it. Okay, yeah. He says some researchers believe that fibers in porous materials catch the virus particles and dry them up and break them up. Smooth surfaces like leather and vinyl can be wiped clean, but they can last a long time on those surfaces, maybe a few days. So it makes important to wash leggings, underwear, dresses carefully. Yeah, there's more things in here, and we'll get back to those. Is it safe to go to the laundromat? There's another question. Well, stick around, folks. Pick up some Primal Edge during the break, and I'll be back in a couple minutes.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, Life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And welcome back to the show. So we're talking about how to wash your clothes, and what I suggest you do is when you come home, just take all your clothes off and put your pajamas on or whatever you're going to wear for the rest of that, and stay indoors. When it comes time to wash your clothes, there's some guidelines here. This includes using hot water, setting your washing machine on extra time, and extra heat in the dryer. Whenever possible, use hot water setting. It helps to kill the virus. Extra heat and time in the dryer makes sense also, as the droplets should dry out, which is more likely to inactivate the virus. If you can wash your clothes at the hottest possible setting, that would be preferred. However, don't ruin your clothes by boiling them. Yeah, you don't want to start boiling them like we did in the old days. I would highly recommend that you wash clothes in detergents that contain a bleach compound. So bleach helps. And that's about it here, I think. Hand washing, if you don't have access to laundry facilities, you can hand wash the clothes at home. So they suggest not going out into a public laundromat or anything like that. It's always best to regularly wash the clothes. If you've been in a crowded area, you might want to remove your clothing when you get into the house, put it in a laundry container or the washer. That would be good. You should wash your coat if you have been using your elbows and your sleeves to touch different items. Do not treat your clothes with Lysol. But however, there are anti-germal clothing sprays that you can use. Since the goal is to block exposure to coronavirus, changing your clothes after coming home from work, or if you've been in large crowds, you should change your clothes and wash them anytime other people have touched them, as such as in large group gatherings, which probably nobody is doing anymore. Being in healthcare most of my life, the author says I've always done this anyway because I'm exposed a lot to different things. So should a sick person wash their clothes separately? It's best to wash a sick clothes person separately. So it says yes. Okay. So that's that. Other things you can do, I think, is basically, well, I wanted this go to this article here about working out. Now, when you're inside a lot, I think we're always going to be looking at ourselves and saying, you know, now we're inside, we're kind of stuck here, and should I exercise, shouldn't I exercise? And this is a battle that I think everybody kind of goes through, because a lot of times you're tired and you don't feel like working out. And, you know, these fitness so-called experts are always saying, well, you need to work out every day. And I don't really think that's the case. But heavy exercise taxes the body with very intense exercise causes cortisol, the stress hormone level, to rise significantly. So the heart becomes, you know, your blood pressure is elevated, your heart is beating fast and rapid breath, and this taxes the cardiovascular system. And under normal conditions, with, you know, really good food, good sleep, good hydration, and good rest, this is perfectly fine for everybody. But if you've had a completely stressful day, and, you know, I think we've all probably, with the market going up and down and just the news, you're going to be stressful if you start thinking about what's going on in the world and whether you're going to get sick or not, or your family, or you know somebody that's sick. It's all stressful. That may be the time just not to work out, or maybe do a gentler workout. I think that's really good. Kind of the same thing, like if you're having a drink or two and you've got a hangover, that's not a time to work out. Your body's already stressed, and what this does is going to stress it more, and that makes sense. Another reason not to work out might be that you've had a bad night's sleep. We've all got these sleep apps now. If you're using those, I don't know, sometimes they seem to work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it says I've had a great sleep and I felt like I haven't, and other times I felt like I haven't slept real well and it says I have. So I think go by your own experience, how you feel that next morning. Don't go by the app quite as much. Maybe it'll give you a nice trend over a 60-day period or something like that, but I don't think they're that reliable. A lot of times that I feel like I'm tossing and turning in bed, I wake up in the morning and I got an 87 on my app, 87 out of 100. So if you slept poorly, you probably haven't recovered well, and if you're not recovered, it means you're stressed already, and the added stress of thinking about this virus or whatever else might be happening in your life just compounds it, and then the exercise stresses you out more. So another reason not to work out would be if you've done some heavy gym work the previous day. A lot of times if you're doing a real powerful workout, you need to rest maybe 1 day, sometimes 2 days, depends on your age, depends on the condition you're in. You know, I'm in the business of exercising people at a private place, so I'm still in business. I usually see people one-on-one. Sometimes there's 2 people in there. But what happens is that if you're stressed and you come to work out, it's just not going to be good for you. It's just make you more susceptible to catching something else. And so that something else right now is this virus. So I'd recommend not working out, maybe doing something really light, maybe just getting in the sun. This is what I've been doing in the afternoon. I go through a certain regime. I take a sauna. I think this is a good thing to take because detoxing yourself helps get rid of these things. It does the same thing with the Primal Edge. You know, when you detox from the Primal Edge, you're moving things out that aren't supposed to be there. And viruses, you know, definitely aren't supposed to be there. So if you're going to the gym on a real stressed out day, that's not a good thing. And of course, nobody's going to the gym now, I would think. Thank goodness I'm still in business. But I do ask my clients, you know, are you stressed? And if you're too stressed, stay home. Now, half the people that I manage are staying home right now. Of course, skipping a workout for any reason shouldn't be a major concern, or shouldn't be stressing out too. A lot of people will stress out if they don't work out. I know I have a couple of clients that just want to work out all the time, and then if they don't, they feel like there's something missing out of their life, and that's the kind of habit we would really like you to get into, but you really have to watch your own signals. I think that's really important. So you don't always need a legitimate reason to work out. You maybe just don't feel like it, and I think that's a good enough reason. So if you've done something heavy the day before, if you're stressed out, if somebody in your family is sick, just skip the workout. That's my advice. There's plenty of other times. If you've worked out regularly, a day, a week, 2 weeks is really not going to make a difference. And that's pretty much proven over and over again. What I've been doing, since I can't go jiu-jitsu now, I've been doing my daily swim. And I'm starting off slowly because I really haven't swam that much all year. So, I start off slowly, doing 15, 20 minutes, and then working up to maybe 30, 40 minutes in a week or so. So that's my plan as long as I'm out of jiu-jitsu, doing something like that. I also do, we all have our favorite little regimes, maybe doing push-ups and pull-ups and things like that, and those are all good. Again, do a little bit here, do a little bit there, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there will be just as good as working out for an hour if you just take it easy, don't stress about it, and once this is over, you can get back to your normal routine. That's just my advice. So we're up on a break here, so while we're getting on this break, please pick up our Primal Edge. Really important today to get all these nutrients in, and also the fulvic and humic acid is there to help get this out of your system. So pick that up during the break. I'll be back in a couple minutes.
We'd like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back to the show. One thing that my dad taught me many, many years ago is kind of to look at the bright side of just about everything that happens to you. When, you know, something bad happens, you kind of turn it around and say to yourself, well, what can I learn out of this? And I was glad he always had that positive attitude no matter what. Maybe it's because he came out of the Second World War and wanted something new for his family, so that's why we kind of moved out of Holland and came to the New World here. But that's been the center of my life, and I think it's really helped me through the downs when things have gone bad or things have gone not the way I really wanted them to go. I always kind of tried to turn them around and had a very short time of stress on that. So I think this is a good way of looking at things, and this is an article that says how positive thinking can improve your physical health. And there's a lot of science behind this. Rigorous studies are confirming what those of us who pursue positivism know by instinct. Optimism supports physical and mental well-being. In a recent analysis of 15 separate studies involving about 225,000 individual participants, they found that those reporting optimistic and positive thought patterns were less likely to have a heart attack or other cardiac conditions other than those who were pessimistic about their outlook. And this was done with a group of cardiologists. They called the data consistent over all the studies. In every case, there was a strong relationship between optimism and a lower risk of disease. Optimists tend to take better care of their health. They're more likely to exercise, more likely to eat better, and less likely to smoke. Biologically, pessimism is associated with higher levels of biochemical markers of inflammation and stress, like cortisol. These levels impact a person's risk of diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and depression. The psychology of optimism is as striking as the biology, the researcher says. She's a psychologist, Julia Boehm. She says that positive thinkers tend to be more effective at problem solving. She says optimists tend to pursue strategies that make a rosy future a reality. Their hearts are not constantly pounding. Some of the skills that are associated with optimism and associated with positive health outcomes are the following: the ability to positively reframe a challenge as an opportunity. Now, that may seem hard in times like this, but staying home, I mean, now that your family's home, this is a good time maybe to start that homeschooling instead of sending your child back out in there. Maybe next year you've got an opportunity here to spend more time with your kids and teach them what you know besides the curriculum that the government is touting. Awareness of thoughts, emotions, and mental patterns. This is kind of like going over and maybe being a witness, where you're meditating and you're thinking to yourself, well, I've got to get rid of all these thoughts, but that's thought in itself. So what you're trying to do is really watch your body come up with all these crazy, or your mind and body, I guess, see what's happening in your mind. And when I do this, I get a lot of reaction here. First I'm watching my own thoughts, and then I have the other thought telling me, oh, I'm thinking too much, and there seems to be two people in my head instead of just one. And just realizing the paradox of this, I think, makes it so, thinking intelligently or just watching will make this go away. It might be just a fraction of a second. But if you start doing some of the things that the soothsayers or the swamis or the meditation people have said, is that you start concentrating on maybe your breath, or maybe on counting. Some people use counting as a way to distract your mind and get it focused on one thing, where you can just kind of focus on that thing, and then slowly but surely that one thing kind of drifts away. And that's the way it seems to work with me. So I have to kind of either concentrate on my breath or my breathing, or maybe doing some counting to get all that other interference from taking over. And then slowly but surely that starts to go away, and you start getting a calming effect. There's another thing called flexible thinking, and cultivating feelings of gratitude for large and small positive events. The researchers noted that optimism is only effective when it's authentic. Pursuing positivity at all costs can actually backfire. tempting us to ignore the warning signs of serious situations or deny the full reality of things. So you can kind of fool yourself too, I suppose. I know things like affirmations, which originally probably was prayer. Those kind of things are important too. And making it authentic, which means probably to me what it means is not repeating a prayer that everybody says. Maybe coming up with your own thankful things that you do. Not that repeating things that you said before does any damage, but coming up with some authentic things or some feelings behind what you're reading. I have one of my clients that has a problem with depression. And I told her to try some of these things. You know, this was when we first started back at the beginning of the year. And she started writing some things down. She wrote these 10 items down, and she started repeating them. And then sometimes she says she goes off script and adds new ones. But what it does, it gives you a track to run on, and that's a good thing because you don't want to be sitting there trying to think of things and your mind fighting with each other kind of thing. That causes more stress. So the researchers note that optimism is only effective when it's authentic. So it really has to be authentic. But it can't become authentic until you're trying this yourself. So coming up with some things like, I remember Stephen Covey, this book that he wrote, the 10 amazing things that intelligent people do. I forget exactly what the book was, but one of the scenarios he had, and I've often used this, is you think that you're in the future now and you're actually at a funeral and you realize the funeral is for you. And now you have to come up with some of the things that other people would say about you, or maybe thinking of things that you would want other people to say about you. And this is one way to frame your existence from now on. If you want people to say, well, he was a kind guy, he was looking after me, he was always kind and calling me and seeing if I had problems, whatever that thing is that you really desire, it kind of moves you forward into doing that. So I think this is a good thing. This is maybe what my dad gave me when he was always in the morning. You could hear my dad singing opera. You know, he had a really nice voice, and he just loved opera and the classics, and you know that kind of absorbed into me. But in the morning, you could always la 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 singing all these songs I never really knew. And of course, in Europe, singing is a big thing, and this is how people communicated that they were in sync with each other at soccer games and things like that. They all always had these songs. So these kind of memories for me are a big thing because they validate me being a positive person. And I think right now, this time, in the situation we're in, I think it's really important to have that positivity, along with doing all the other things that we have to do naturally to keep our family safe and keep ourselves safe. So stick around, folks. I got a little bit more, and please pick up the Primal Edge during the break. Is something that you really need right now, and I think you'll really like it. So pick that up. I'll be right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The Gold Report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, JDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And welcome back to the show. So one thing about the show is, we're really talking about diet a lot, and I want to go back into diet because I think it's really important to understand where the problems come up with today's eating, and you really have to wrap your head around this. People in the chat room, by the way, I really like it, saying be prepared, be like the Boy Scouts used to be, and prayer coming from the heart and not just from a paper. In fact, Christ always said when he did that Lord's Prayer that don't say it just like I say it. Come up with your own, right from the heart. And now we have everybody saying that prayer over and over again. It's kind of like the Star-Spangled Banner or any of these other anthems that we have. They dull as we keep repeating them. So really that does have to come to the heart. That doesn't mean by repeating something you've heard before, it doesn't come from the heart. It can also, but a lot of times it doesn't. Found this article on Slate Star Codex by Scott Anderson. And it's for, then against, high saturated fat diets. In the 1800s, the average U.S. Man weighed about 155 pounds, and today they weigh about 195. This change is even starker at the extreme. Somebody at the 90th percentile of weight back then only weighed about 185 pounds, and now he would weigh about 320 pounds. Back then, about 1% of the men were obese, and today it's about 25% of the men. This puts a lot of modern dietary advice into perspective. And they have a couple of examples. A lot of people think that low carb is the solution to everything. But people in the 1800s, almost 50% of them ate more bread than when they did today, and they still had no obesity. Other people think that paleo is the solution to everything, but Americans in the 1800s ate a diet heavy in bread, milk, potatoes, and vegetables, and extremely low in red meat and other more caveman recognized foods. Intermittent fasting, again, was a cool idea, but your grandfather probably didn't know about it. And he had only a 1% obesity risks. This is not to say that diets can't work. It's that if they work, they're called hacks. And we use that term a lot these days. They treat the symptoms and not the underlying problem. Something went terribly wrong with the U.S. nutrition between 1900 and today. And all of his talk about low-carb, intermittent fasting is something that came out of result of this, maybe. Given that the 1800s, Americans seem to have effortlessly maintained near zero obesity rates while eating foods like the ones we eat today. Maybe we should stop trying to figure out what the caveman is doing and try figuring out what great-grandpa did. And that's true. And really, you know, the Chinese, they ate mostly white rice for a long, long time. And this is kind of the high glycemic index type of food that we say is no good today. What about the French? They eat the baguettes, they eat pastries, they eat cheese, and they eat meat, lots of sugar, lots of white flour and fat. The opposite of what we would advise today. But in the 1970s, France had the same kind of low obesity rates as the 1800s. This is related to the French paradox, what we talk about. And of course, the French paradox is they'd have a lot of fat in their diet. So this is the real issue here. It's not so much that high fat is good, high fat is bad, is what we changed along with the fat. And a section of online nutrition sphere claims the answer has to do with the way mitochondria processes fat. I've been trying to read these people and feel for their opinions, but most of what I absorbed from these blogs is, he says it needs a different kind of investigation. So unsaturated fat right now is being touted as something that we really need, and saturated fat is something that we should stay away from. And I eat a lot of saturated fat, probably mostly saturated fat, and very little unsaturated fat. In the 1950s, heart disease rates were rising in the U.S. Realistically, there was mostly because a lot of people started smoking, and tobacco was catching up to them. But people didn't know this at the time. They did some studies in nutrition, and the studies suggested maybe saturated fat could cause heart attacks. So the government started to replace saturated fat with the unsaturated fat. And this is where the problem comes. So there's a chart here. So these charts, the first one is the U.S. Consumption of PUFAs. When we talk about PUFAs, we're really talking about vegetable oils, canola oil, things that in the old days we never had. And these were initially, most of these things were used in ball bearing business to give metal a area to spin their ball bearings on. And a lot of these things didn't have any taste, and somewhere along the line they got approved for human consumption. So you can see these two charts, this is the PUFAs, these are the vegetable oil consumption, and this starts all the way from 1909 and really starts spiking about just after the Second World War, the early 50s. And then it just keeps rising up, while the animal fat consumption started going down. And you can see that from 1975, there was a little spike in there. But really, from about 1950, 45, 50, this animal consumption fat is what went down, and this one went up. And this is really the biggest problem we have, because these fats are not absorbed well by us. They cause all kinds of problems, and when they're mixed with proteins and sugars, they cause all kinds of problems. So this is why these hacks, when you're talking about the paleo diet, the carnivore diet, and things like that, we're not using any of those oils in that, and we're using a lot of saturated fats. And probably if we're eating some of the other stuff like potatoes and stuff, we wouldn't be doing that bad. This is my personal opinion. I still think it's a good idea to eat the most nutrition while you can. You know, my freezer right now is stocked with meats. I've got lots of ribeyes and chicken and pork and stuff in there, and this is what we will eat until it's all gone. If we can't get any more, then we're going to go to these other things. But we're never going to go to these corn oils and things like that. So this dramatic change in consumption of fat was reflected in a dramatic change in the consumption of the composition of the human body. Studies of human fat cells and breast milk found that they went from overwhelmingly saturated fat, like the fat cells in the breast milk of animals, to the polyunsaturated fat. Another chart here. You can see how these things went up. This is the added fats. So that top one is the vegetable oils, and all the other ones is butter, lard, and margarine. And margarine is another suspect right there, because I think the first margarine was from cottonseed oil. You don't eat any cotton seeds. We don't eat that stuff. So seed oils, too, I think fall in this. The only exception may be sesame seed oil, flaxseed oil, things like that. But I would recommend getting away from these things. I'm up on a break here. I'll continue with this after the break, and please pick up the Primal Edge while you're out here. Be right back.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that have transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN has developed a daily programming lineup for traders by traders. We start every trading day live at 8:30 a.m. with Tommy O'Brien hosting the morning market kickoff as he starts the day off by breaking down everything you need to know about what's going on for the trading day ahead. At 9 a.m., Larry Pesavento takes your calls and questions live on the air for the opening bell as he hosts Trade What You See. At 10 a.m., Tom and Tommy O'Brien host the Bull Bear Trading Hour. At 11 a.m., it's Kevin Hinks and Alex Coffey from TD Ameritrade Network with Fast Market. Basil Chapman at noon with the Tiger Technicians Hour. Steve Rhodes hosts the Trader's Edge at 1 p.m. Dave White with the Power Trading Hour at 2 p.m. And Tom O'Brien closes out the day for the final hour of trading live from 3 till 4. Don't miss a second of our daily programming lineup. Tune in to Tiger TV every trading day live at TFNN.com. Educating investors.
And welcome back to the show. And I have the last article here is 23 reasons to avoid soybean oil, and that's probably the worst oil of all, and has a lot of things here. I don't really want to go into it. I'll throw it into the Health Signals newsletter. But beginning next week, we're going to have a change in the show. And, you know, I really don't like doing this show by myself. I really do need somebody to talk to about this. And there's been a lot of suggestions out there for another co-host. But this is going to be my new co-host. I'll show this in the den, too. That I was speaking to my wife, and she said she would be glad to do the show with me. And that's a big, big plus for me. She's an attorney. And she deals right now, and she's so busy right now too. That's another thing too, because she works in the community association law and condo law. And of course, these people are being shut in, and they have all kinds of different problems and different. Everybody has a theory on what they can and cannot do. So she's constantly working right now. And the good thing is, she started working from home last year, so that's a blessing. But you know, I was mulling things around, and my producer gave me a nice suggestion, which was her, and I just went home and was talking about it to her, and she said, "I'll do the show with you." Just I didn't even get a chance to ask her. So I think this is going to be a big plus. She's very knowledgeable on a lot of things, maybe not as far as vitamins and minerals, because most of that has been brought about because our basic interest in our own health. But this will give you a chance to see how we as a family are trying to remain healthy. And I think it's a big plus for the show. So she's going to be. This is a picture about 10 years ago. It's the nicest picture I found of us, and I really like it. And she's going to add a lot to the show. So I'm psyched about it. So next Tuesday, it's going to be Living a Primal Lifestyle with Nico and Ellen Haan from 7 to 8 o'clock, and it's going to be a good show, I think, and we're going to incorporate her knowledge of community associations along with this. So I think it not only will involve the nutrition that we usually talk about and feeling good and how we live our life, but our shared experiences on daily life and our vacations we take and the Bigfoot hunting and all the stuff that she took part in too. So I think it's going to be real interesting. I think you'll really like her, and I'm psyched. So it's good for me. Thanks for sticking around, folks. See you next week with my wife, Ellen. Bye-bye.